Oh boy, what do I have for you today? It's honey. Lots of honey. And you know what time it is? It's ninja cooking time. Alright, well, first we're going to do the simplest honey recipe. The one that you might not know exists. Take one honey, and throw it in the pot. Whoop, throw it in the pot. And boom! Energized honey candy. Look at how much that heals you. That's because of the critical hook. Gave it a boost. I think to the... Actually, I think the boost gave it to the stamina. But, yeah, one honey, five hearts. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not amazing. But if you're running around with a small amount of hearts, one honey, one candy, it's pretty good. It's got some other uses too, the honey candy. If you're running out, oh my, the fact that the Blood Moon is like I only have 30 seconds of in-game time. Now that in-game time doesn't pass when I'm in the menu. Like I feel like I need to go fast, but the reality is as long as I'm fast when I need to be fast. Anyway, the cool thing about stamina restoring items is if you deplete all of your stamina wheels, then you can use one of these items to get yourself out of the exhausted state, and I'll show that off later. But one of the other things we can do is we can stack these. Boop. And look at that. So we did get the critical hook on the heart restoring last time. This is how they restore 3 hearts per honey, and then you can get a 3 heart boost from the critical hook. So 2 is going to restore 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boop. Do, 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 do. Oh yeah, look at all that honey. And look at that. Oof. Oh, sweet, sweet candy. Yes. Anyway, so that's the simplest recipe with honey, but there are some other exciting ones. Like, for example, one that I forgot to write. No, I wrote it down. Okay, here we are. Where is it? I want to double check the recipe real quick. Ah, here we are. So we need 1 honey. You will need a fresh milk, a bird egg, some wheat, and a cane sugar. Now, the thing about this recipe is it uses a lot of ingredients that you have to purchase, the milk and the sugar, and also like eggs aren't super common, but you can find them. And the wheat is annoying to acquire in large numbers, and on top of that, the honey as well. So this is 5 uncommon slash rare ingredients, and all you're going to get out of it. Let's just throw it all in there real quick. All you get out of it is the energized honey crab, which normally heals 10 hearts, but we got the critical hook, which boosted it to 13. Not gonna lie, it's not one of my favorite items because, in general, honey's not one of my favorite items to cook with, and you're gonna see why as we move into the next recipe, which is the honeyed fruit. Now, you take a honey and any non-apple, but the thing is if you use something like a banana, then you actually don't get the mighty bonus because the honey itself has a stamina bonus. I wish it hadn't done this. If the honey itself didn't have a stamina recovery effect, you could use honey to make interesting recipes. But unfortunately, we cannot. And so, which is one of my opinion why the honey candy is probably the most interesting thing you can do with the honey. But you can throw it together with a bunch of palm fruits and make if you don't want to stretch your honey and make it go farther, and make energized honey fruits. On this recipe, I believe we got 3 from the honey and 8 from the fruit. So, I mean, we got a little bit more from the honey. Because I believe the critical cook raised the stamina. So 12 hearts, that's not terrible for 4 palm fruits and a honey. And it does look delicious, although, it does contain, the picture contains items we did not at all include, which is, I always like that. It's silly. Um, but yeah, it's not the worst use of your honey. But we also can do this little recipe right here. And this one, because it uses an apple, you can cook it whenever you want. By Since the golden apple will always have a critical cook. And I don't know about you, but I'm always trying to cook with a critical cook. And look at that. That heals even more than using all the palm fruits, and all we had to do was throw a bunch of apples in there. Now, it could end up with just 10 and more stamina, because the critical hook gave us the bonus hearts. You can tell because the stamina is how much you get from one honey. Like if we compare that to the honey candy we had, that stamina wheel there is the regular, and then the boosty. It's I'm getting confused though at how many hearts the honey actually adds. It should be twice what it gives you normally. It gives you normally 2, so it should be 4. But then this gave me 5. And this one gives me 6, and that was 2 honeys. Well, anyway. So yeah, honeyed apple. Pretty alright. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the some of the more exciting recipes. Oop, excuse me. Uh, just because they're just weird. Glazed veggie. Now the thing with glazed veggie though is we have a stamina recovery item in the vegetables, so you can throw 4 stamina bulbs in, or is there another one? I think it's just the stamina bulbs, right? Yeah, and boop, and now we can actually get a somewhat decent stamina recovery item. It's really cheap and easy to make. Look at that, 2 full wheels and some hearts, and it doesn't look that bad either. Kind of interesting. Although it sounds disgusting. Not gonna lie, I would not want to eat that. Uh, Even worse though is our next recipe. Take our honey and 4 mushrooms. I don't recommend this. Certainly not in real life. But honestly, I feel like in general, no, no. It just looks. And this dish implies that you should put the hardy mushrooms in it. Do not. That is a waste of hardy mushrooms. Ugh. But it does recover a bunch of stamina. So there's that. What else we have? We have the seafood. So we have. Let's take our Hyrule bass, throw it in there with the energized or the honey. Now with this recipe, I'm actually doing a little experimenting myself. Does it give it the name? No, it just says energized glazed seafood. But look at how much it heals. And that's with the extra 3 hearts from the critical cook. So that's 2 items, 8 hearts. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Where's our honey again? The funny thing about this, though, is that implies that if we take our sneaky river snail, throw that in there. Now, this is going to cancel out the stamina buff, so we're just going to get hearts. But it's our glazed escargot. Oh, that sounds disgusting. Um, but yeah, it doesn't change the ingredients based on the fish you put in there, so you only need the 1 glazed seafood for your recipe book. Do I not have any Staminoka? Ah, there they are. But if we throw 4 of these guys in, what do we get? Let's see how much we can recover. Oh, look at that. That is the ultimate energized glazed seafood right there. 3 full wheels of stamina. 15 hearts? 15 hearts. But honestly, I feel like the Staminoka bass are hard to get a hold of, and this is not worth the wasting all those ingredients. And we'll get to why specifically at the end. But let's move on to the meats. Oh, the meats. So if you just throw a meats in, we have a drumstick here. You still, I believe this is the same thing with the seafood. You're only going to get the one kind of result, the energized glazed meat. Which, it's just not terrible. But again, I feel like, in general, this is kind of a waste of honey and good ingredients. Like, if we use the gourmet meats, like, we'll recover a lot of hearts, but I feel like your gourmet meats are better off being used for items that you're going to sell, as which we'll go over in another episode. But like 10 hearts, you saw we could get to 10 hearts much easier than that. Like I think our stamina bulbs almost got there. Yeah, they got 8, and that was 4 stamina bulbs, which I don't know how many you have, but I have like 100 of those. I have a bunch of, yeah, I have 100 plus. They're easy to come across. And then like mushrooms aren't bad either. I mean, I still wouldn't want to waste my mushrooms on that. And then the fruit, like fruit heals just as much. Like I feel like it's a waste of just a glazed meat. But if you're trying to create a honey that requires a bunch of hearts, because maybe you have a lot of hearts, then yeah, go ahead and throw your prime meat in there. And look, oh, it's only 19 hearts. It's not really that great, to be honest. But you know, if you have a lot of hearts to recover, you're using hardy ingredients anyway. This is more about the specific recipes, and unfortunately, there's just not that much to do with honey, because as you can see, you know, with the conflicting ingredients, you know, with the conflicting buffs, like we can't do a hardy honey. It's just going to turn into a boring glazed mushroom that doesn't do anything. We can't do a mighty honey. Mighty glazed fruit cannot happen. None of these things can happen, sadly. Um, One thing you can do with it is you can use it in elixirs to increase the potency. So let's go ahead and get a grasshopper. And we'll go ahead and grab, what do I have in abundance? Let's go ahead and grab a tooth. I tend to use teeth when I don't really care about duration because I'll do stamina recovery and heart recovery potions. So you just throw a tooth in because it doesn't matter with the duration. And then you can throw a honey in there to increase the stamina recovery. But honestly, even in this case, I feel like it's a waste of the honey. You're pretty much better off just using the stamina bulbs. But you can put the honey into this, and it will increase the amount of hearts you get. But honestly, if you really, really want to squeeze extra hearts out of your elixirs, just put meat in. This works just as well. It recovers maybe a little less than putting 3 honeys in. It recovers a little less stamina. But if you're trying to recover stamina, don't don't look to the course bee honey. It's just not the way to do it. It's not. Um, you're better off using a single Endura carrot or Endura shroom. And the sad thing is even if you mix that with the honey, because like, oh, I'll do a glazed carrot, I'm pretty sure these buffs are gonna conflict and strip each other. Look at that. Boom. Completely wasted buffs. So you can't even do that. You can't even mix it with the Endura carrots or they're not called Endura shrooms. What are they called? They are called Endura shrooms. Yeah, you can't even mix them with that. So sadly, in my opinion, the best thing to do with the honey is just take one, throw it in there. Because of all those recipes, the most unique one is just the energized honey candy. And if you get the critical hook with the 5 hearts, the fact that you have a single piece of candy recovering that many hearts and that much stamina, that's where it's at. And yeah. Well, that was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and show off real quick. I have a lot of stamina, so let's just waste it off and I'll show you what I mean by you can get out of the exhausted state. So like right now, oh, we move so slow. Excuse me. When you're in that exhausted state, you move extra slow and you can't use your stamina at all. But if you get into that exhausted state, again, boop, we can go in here and eat one of these honey candies, and immediately we're no longer in the exhausted state. Our bar recovers faster, we can move faster. Then like that's basically the only reason to keep around stamina recovery items, is you can break that exhausted state. But pretty much as soon as you start getting Endura items, which recover your full stamina meter, there's really no reason to have stamina recovery items. And I don't even believe they sell for all that much, to be honest. Let's go see what the 5 honey candies sell for. Hey, buddy. Good evening. I would like to start building air quotes. See, this is how you access the secret shop. Oh, look at that. It's good. You know what? I need more rooms. Yes, I want to sell. Here we are. And this is Granson's secret shop. Look at that. 5 honeys is only 90 rupees. The single honey by itself is 12. But when you put 5 ingredients together, it increases the amount of money you get. And we'll go over this in more detail um, another time. The one with the 5 Staminoka bass, like you can see that it's the bass that are providing the majority of the money here. The honey is just an ingredient that is sadly not really useful for anything unless you really want to make some crepes, in which case, you know, I totally get it. They're delicious. They look delicious. Those look delicious. This is a delicious looking item. And it does recover a decent amount of hearts. If you're playing with a low amount of hearts, like myself, then this is probably a cool item to have laying around just for recovery. And like I could see keeping one of these in your inventory for that moment when you run out of stamina and you want to break the exhaustion state, but you don't want to eat your Endura carrot cake because you don't need all the stamina, you just need to break the exhaustion, then yeah, this would be a nice item. Although, if anything, it's probably more difficult to put together than the Endura cake because I forget. I think this one requires one less ingredient because it's just a cake with carrot. Cake is 3 ingredients, carrot is 1 ingredient. So yeah, the it even requires, so it's even harder to make than the Endura carrot one. But it's like, I mean, again, we are all about style, and if you pop an energized honey crepe in the middle of combat to recover your exhaustion state, because that's all you need, you don't need a full stamina bar, you just need that little extra oomph, then that's some pretty good style. But even then, you could get the same result from just eating a single piece of candy. So, in my opinion, this is the best recipe for the honey, and using it for anything else is just not really worth it. It just really isn't. And look how disgusting. I mean, oh, ugh. I can't. The fruit looks okay. I like the idea of the honey fruits, although I'd like to point out that it's a full comb of honey with larvae poking out are included in these recipes. The glazed veggies, I mean, that's at least a little more appetizing than the glazed mushrooms. I don't even know. Like, oh, I'm not a seafood person myself, but the one, just remember, this is our glazed snails, honeyed snails. I don't even want to know. Maybe that's a thing. How many things that like? I'm just thinking. You put butter on snails. Would honey go with that? Because I mean, you can put butter on baked goods, and you can put honey on baked goods. Like a buttered crepe and a honey crepe. Both would be great, right? Pancakes, waffles, glazed, honeyed seafood, honey, maybe. The meat, obviously. I mean, that sounds delicious. We do that with hams here in America. I don't know about other places, if there's any other kind of honeyed, but I'm sure there is other kind of honeyed meats. But I have to look up honeyed seafood. You know what? I'm not going to leave you guessing. Let's look this up real quick. Honey seafood. Uh, honey fish recipe. Honey garlic glazed salmon. All right. Okay. So I guess that's not that unusual. I mean, several recipes popped up. So honey glazed salmon is a thing. Um, but the glazed veggies. Let's check veggies. I want to check this real quick. Veggie, honey veg recipe. Honey roasted vegetables. All right. So I guess this is also a thing. Maybe I'm just way out of line. All right, hold on. Let's check the mushrooms. Honey mushroom recipe. Sauteed honey mushroom. I think there's honey balsamic garlic mushrooms. Alright, I'm just way out of line, I guess.
Ah.
No, we're good. Uh, no, we're done.
Mmm.
That'll be the cut.
Ah.
Probably should have ended with that whole like subscribe nonsense, but you know.